All right, welcome to The Explainer. Today, we are diving deep into a completely new way of thinking about software, and we're drawing from the awesome concepts in the Multi-AI Agent Systems with CrewAI course. We're talking about getting away from rigid, breakable rules and creating systems that are actually intelligent and autonomous. Let's jump right in.
You know the feeling, right? If you've ever written code, you've been here. You build some automation, and then the edge cases start crawling out of the woodwork. It just feels like a never-ending battle, always adding one more condition, another check, another path.
You end up with this giant spider web of conditional logic. It's like you're trying to draw a perfect map for every single road a user or a piece of data could possibly take. But we all know the real world is messy, and your code just ends up being a reflection of all that chaos. And that's the hard truth, isn't it? Trying to pre-program a perfect response for every single scenario, it's not just hard, it's pretty much impossible. Your code becomes super brittle. The second something unexpected happens, a tiny change in an API response, a weird user input, the whole thing just falls apart.
So what's the alternative? This is the big idea behind Agentic Automation. Instead of giving a system this super rigid step-by-step instruction manual, what if you just gave it a goal, a toolbox, and the freedom to figure out the path all on its own? It's a huge shift in how we think about building software.
And this shift changes everything, right down to how we architect our applications. We are moving away from a world that demands perfect, deterministic precision to a world of, well, what we can call fuzziness.
Let's just put these two side by side. The old way is all about control, trying to manage every little thing with explicit logic, which just leads to complexity and things breaking. The new agentic way, well, it's about setting a goal and then empowering the system to be flexible and adaptive. It handles all that variety by design.
And this slide really nails the difference at the data level. You know, regular apps, they love strong, predictable types. An integer goes in, a specific calculation happens, another integer comes out. Simple. But AI applications, they live on these fuzzy inputs, unstructured text, weird user questions, and they produce fuzzy outputs that can take all sorts of shapes and forms.
I mean, ChatGPT is the perfect poster child for this. Its magic comes from its ability to handle all the ambiguity of just human language. It doesn't have a giant if-else statement for every question you could ever ask it. It gets the intent and generates a response. That's a fuzzy application in action.
So how do you actually build one of these things? Well, you don't use just one single giant AI brain to solve a complex problem. Instead, you put together a team of specialized AI agents. You assemble a crew. And this is where a framework like CrewAI becomes so important, because it gives you the structure to make these agents work together seamlessly.
So a crew is basically a team where every AI has a specific job to do. And in CrewAI, you can orchestrate this in a couple of ways. You could have a process.sequential flow, where tasks just get done one after another, like an assembly line. Or you can use a more powerful process.hierarchical flow, where you actually have a manager agent that delegates tasks to other agents. This lets you build much more complex and dynamic workflows.
Okay, enough theory. Let's make this concrete. We're going to look at a real-world example. Meet Noah. He's a great developer, but his resume just isn't quite hitting the mark for the full-stack job he's dreaming of. We're going to build a simple sequential crew to help him out. Okay, here's our crew. Each one of these is an agent object. For the tech job researcher, you literally define its role as an expert tech job analyst. You give it a goal, like extract key technical skills from a job posting, and you even give it a backstory to give it context. Then you assign it a task, and crucially, you specify the expected output, say, a clean, structured list of skills. That output then becomes the direct input for the next agent, the profile engineer, and so on down the line. That's task management right there.
All right, so let's see this crew actually get to work. Let's watch what they produce for Noah. So here's the before shot. This is Noah's original profile. It's good, it's strong, but it's very focused on leadership and AI/ML. For a full-stack role that wants hands-on coding, this just isn't hitting the right notes.
And bam! Look at the difference. The crew, running through its sequential process, analyzed the job description, compared it to Noah's skills, and completely reframed his profile. It pulled his experience with specific languages and design principles right to the front. Now, it's perfectly aligned with what that recruiter is looking for.
And this is the absolute key right here.
The AI didn't lie, it didn't hallucinate or make up skills he doesn't have, it just performed brilliant strategic communication. It took the raw material of Noah's actual career and translated it into the exact language that would resonate with the hiring manager for that specific job.
So this is incredibly powerful, and it goes way beyond just sprucing up resumes. You can apply this exact same logic to core business processes and create a serious competitive advantage. Let's look at something a little more complex, like sales.
You know, think about how most companies score sales leads. It's usually a pretty basic rules-based system, right? Did they fill out the form? Are they in the right country? Do they have more than, say, 10 employees? It's static, and it misses so much of the important nuance.
But a hierarchical crew can completely change the game here. The research agent is given tools, like the SerperDev tool to do live Google searches, or a custom tool to query your company's CRM. And as these agents do their work, their findings are passed through the crew's shared memory. This isn't just a simple handoff anymore. It's a shared context that lets the scoring agent make a way more nuanced decision and lets the prep agent create super personalized talking points for the sales team.
So, you see what's happening? We're moving beyond just simple data processing. You're actually building an engine that doesn't just filter information, but enriches it, analyzes it, and turns it into real, actionable strategy for your team, all on its own.
So that brings us to the final thought, and it's really a question for you. This isn't just a cool theory. Think about your own work, your own stack, your CI/CD pipelines, your data ingestion scripts, your customer support systems. Where are you fighting with these brittle, rule-based systems, and where could a crew of smart, goal-driven agents make the biggest impact?